Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed, and in this video we will be looking at HTML entities. In the last video I mentioned as an entity that the space character representation. So first of all, let's understand what entities are. Certain characters like the less than sign, the greater than sign have a special meaning in HTML and its variants. Similar is the case of the ampersand sign. So if you want to use the less than character, the browser will be confused whether it is a new tag or the less than character. So this must be a safer way of using this character. Likewise, then all characters are present in the keyboard, like the currency symbols, the multiply sign, the division sign, and any other character representing any other foreign language other than the English standard language. So HTML entities provide a safe way of using such characters. The syntax of HTML entities is basically this: the ampersand sign followed by a code and closed by a semicolon. Now in this part, the ampersand sign and the semicolon, these are the starting characters and the ending closing character of an entity, and in between that entity, that is the code. It can be a decimal number to represent that code or character, a hexadecimal, or a name. Basically there are three ways of representing the same character. Decimal and hexadecimal numbers, they will be present for all characters, but name will only be present for a few characters. Some of the common HTML entities are as mentioned in this table. To use the ampersand sign, for instance, we want to use this sign so that the web browser doesn't get confused with this sign or the space character. So this is the representation in terms of name, which is easy to remember, but the numbered form and the Unicode form is also possible. And though we are not expected to remember these, you can use them from the reference table. So let's start using them now. I have my text file and I have my web page in the web browser. So for instance, here we are going to use the HTML and CSS. Now this can be represented correctly by the browser. If I refresh, you can see that yes, this browser is representing it correctly. Let me zoom in a bit. It's representing it correctly, but basically the problem is that, as I mentioned in the previous video, some special characters like this, like this character, the space, explicit space character, this is used to represent a space. So browser may not be confused that either you are using an entity or you just want to use this character. So we have the ampersand entity for this, and as mentioned in this slide, you can use 38 or 26 also. For the time being, let's stick to this. Refresh it and you can see that of course the output remains the same. The other way of using it is using a hash sign and the 26 character, sorry, not the 26 character, it was the 38 and 26 for Unicode character, the 38 character. So that's another way of representing it, but again we won't be touching those. For instance, we want to give a different value. For instance, I want to show this representation: 4 multiplied by 4 is equal to 16. So I want to represent the multiply sign. So of course I can use the X, but that will be represented with that current font. This is not the right way. The right way is to use the entity, and that is the times. Go back, refresh, you see this is the multiply sign. 4 times 4 equal to 16. Then of course in the next line we can show that 4 divided by 4 is 1. So divide will be like this. Of course you don't have this key on the keyboard. So these are easy way of handling things. Then for instance, I can also use this symbol that, for instance, I have 4 and let's divide 4 by, for instance, I can divide it by let's say Okay, I need to divide 4 by, or let's divide 8 by 4 will be 2, but let's divide 4 by 8. So what will be the value? Value will be half. So how to present half? Of course, one way is representing it like this, but the another way of using it will be fraction, half the fraction. So similar, there are other characters also. We have used the space character. We have used, so to use the less than sign, we can use this LT. You see, for instance, I want to represent or I want to show the users with the BR tag. I want to display this BR as it is on the screen. Refresh it. It won't be represented. Why? Because it is translating it into a break line. So to use this, I can use less than, sorry, and over here I can use, get rid of this, and over here I can use the greater than sign. You see, now it is being represented correctly. So there are other symbols also. For instance, we have the pound symbol to represent the pound or the yen, and there are so many other characters also. So hopefully this short video introduced you to the world of HTML entities.